The way is in training, Miyamoto Musashi, and the way to learn how to chart, which again gives you mastery over the market. My friends, if you can determine the direction of the stock, the ETF that you are tracking, what does that mean to you? It means untold opportunities. And that's what we focus on here every day. You guys have seen, of those you've been with us just this year, you have seen 13 weekly vertical crossovers. How many of those have worked like clockwork? 12 of them have been successful. That is a 90+% track record. How simple are weekly vertical crossovers? They're real simple. They're when the blue price percent oscillator crosses over the red signal line. We do a buy-in point on a Friday afternoon around 3:50. And my friends, the world can be your oyster. You need to practice trade every single one of these. We're not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. We want to train you, empower you, have you understand how to follow price movement. We follow trends. We're not little day traders looking to pick up a penny here, a penny there. We want your practice trades to go for dollars, hundreds of dollars. We want to see you be successful in this art. It is as much science as it is art. That's why machines can't do it. Now, what do we see going on? Well, everything on our charts is up for the day on our four big ones. S&P 500 we'll jump into first. Look at it. Look at this candle. Got a big green up candle for the week. Price percent oscillator heading up. Derivative oscillator gaining upward momentum. Go to the 2-day chart. Prices above the 2-day trend line. First day of this latest 2-day candle. It'll finish off tomorrow. Remember we had that 2-day recross jumping in point around 236.50. I'm sorry. My dyslexia kicking in. 326.50, going up to a high of what? 332.86. Now again, not telling you can capture all that. That's just where it's going. Jumping in point on that 2-day recross, again, was at that $326.50 mark or so. You did that at the end of the day on Monday, and it has continued to go up beautifully since that time. Let's go. We see the price percent oscillator pulling away from the red signal line, derivative oscillator moving up. Half-day chart, same thing. Derivative oscillator gaining momentum, price percent oscillator heading up. Folks, this is supposed to be the crappy time of year. This is the time of year I've always hated. Summertime trading zone. It is amazing what we have seen. With all of the craziness going on, this market has continued to soar. Why has it continued to soar? My friends, I don't really know. I could sure guess. Inflation, the government printing money backed by nothing, all the bad things we can come up with. But you're seeing real dollars on this chart moving up. And we have tracked it the whole time successfully. So again, as long as it goes in this direction, we will follow it. When it crashes and does what it did when the COVID crash occurred, we can look back on the chart and see it. We tracked that too. Did we not call it? We sure did on the week ending the 28th of February. We followed it down and then we followed it back up. We had that crossover going up back on the 8th of May. We were in it. And again, it's been beautiful. Let's go to the Qs. Up 1.32% for the day. Crazy. Again, I can't explain this stuff, folks, but it keeps happening. We see, and again, when it rolls over and goes down, we'll follow it down. We have inverse funds, don't we? We have puts, don't we? We have options. You have options. Options of options. Okay. What do we see going on? Price percent oscillator going up, derivative oscillator about flat, big green up candle price well above the weekly trend line, the 2-day trying to cross over. Will that happen when the candle closes at the end of the day on Friday? Because the next 2-day candle will end on Friday. Might give you a jumping in point. Is it going to be sketchy? Well, we're getting long in the tooth, but again, things keep moving up. I do urge you to practice trade it if it is there. Again, if it's a down day, probably won't be on Friday, but if it's an up day, might give you a jumping in point. That derivative oscillator's losing momentum, price percent losing downward momentum, price percent oscillator's heading up. What do we see on the half-day chart? We can see where the price percent oscillator took off in the afternoon. The derivative oscillator losing momentum, but price, again, moving up quite nicely. So look for that two-day recross at the end of the day on Friday. Might be something for you to consider practice trading. Next, we go to bonds up 0.56%. Are we going to get a weekly vertical crossover? If bonds are up a lot tomorrow, that could happen. Don't know that that's going to occur. We see the first red open box candle in many, many weeks, so that's slowing down. What could that tell us? Could that be a reason to have some trepidation about jumping into the Qs at the end of the day tomorrow, if that even happens? Because again, if we see bonds continuing to go up, what does that mean? Maybe stocks are going to go down. If bonds are slowing and getting ready to go down, well, then maybe everything will be great. So just watch, pay attention, see what these charts, what these signals tell you. We'll see if that price percent oscillator crosses over. Derivative oscillator is going into its second week of green up movement on the weekly. The two-day sideways slide as far as the price percent oscillator goes. We do see things pumping up first day of this latest candle, moving right up the two-day trend line. Half-day chart up in the morning, bit of a slowdown in the afternoon, still negative on the price percent oscillator, as is the derivative oscillator. So we'll wait, see how things shake out. Gold up again, 1.33%. Look at this baby. When we had that two-day, the weekly vertical crossover and the two-day recross, or the two-day cross at the same time, we had a fabulous jumping in point somewhere around the 166 mark, reaching a high so far of 194.64 in the sixth, going into almost completing the sixth week. Look at that arc of the price percent oscillator and the derivative oscillator slamming up. Two-day chart going up strongly, also right up that two-day trend line. What do we see on the half-day chart? About where it was in the afternoon as to where it was in the morning. Price well above that 4-hour or the half-day trend line. See if we can redraw that a little bit. There we go. So that's where we are on our first four big charts. Things are looking good. If you hadn't purchased our book, you want to know what we do in depth, hey, you need to buy it. Follow the link in the show notes. We also have bound 3-month copies of our Trader's Journal, which includes the daily market worksheet, weekly market worksheet, and trade worksheets. We also have trainings on how to use all three of those worksheets. In fact, I'm going to include those at the end of today's video, and I'm going to scatter them throughout today's video. Also, we show you the worksheets. They're available in your show notes. PDFs are. If you want a bound version, want to support us here at the channel, you can order 1 3-month or you can order a year's supply and get a substantial discount. So that's where we are with our charts. Do appreciate all of our Patreon members that joined us yesterday. If you're a Patreon member, we sent you out the live question and answer recording, including all of the questions that we addressed and the ETFs and stocks our members ask us to help them track for practice trading. Let's move to Bitcoin. A few more charts to look through if you're interested. We look at the weekly chart, look at Bitcoin spiking, look at that price percent oscillator heading up, derivative oscillator heading up, candle heading up. Go to the two-day. We had that two-day recross somewhere around the $10,765 mark. How high has it gotten? It's hit all the way up to $11,845.04. We see things just moving up. Price percent oscillator moving up, derivative oscillator. And on that half-day chart, 2 days of nice, strong movement we did see in the morning on Thursday. a crossover heading up. Again, pretty flat in the afternoon, but again, nice to see that 2-day recross doing quite well for us in Bitcoin. Real estate, what do we see going on the Vanguard Real Estate Investment Trust Exchange Traded Fund? Of course, real estate is up for the day, not much, 0.16%. We do have a green up candle for the week, trying to move higher, but about where it was over the prior week as far as topping. Derivative oscillators, a little more than flat. Price percent oscillators heading up, crossing through the 50-period moving average line. 2-day, again, continuing to move up on the price percent oscillator. Derivative oscillator gaining momentum. First day of the latest 2-day candle not hitting the high that was hit in that prior 2-day candle or the high back on Thursday, the 30th of July. We'll continue to watch and see where things go. Half day is negative still. Negative in the morning, a little bit of recovery in the afternoon, like we said, ended up 0.16% for the day. Derivative oscillator still negative along with the price percent oscillator. Lastly, we go to USO. What is that? That is oil. It's down for the day, 0.17%. We do see a green up candle forming for the week with a big old peak on top. We see the derivative oscillator still losing momentum. Price percent oscillator trying to track up. 2-day chart, price percent oscillator flat. Derivative oscillator gaining some momentum. First day of the latest 2-day candle, not reaching the high or on the high of the prior. Look at the half-day chart. That's where we see that prior bump up back on Wednesday, the 5th of August, and then sort of a sideways slide with some devolving in the afternoon on Thursday. So we'll continue to watch, see what there is to see there. Lastly, what did silver do? Woo! Up 7.31%. Bam! How's that 2-day recross working for you? Those of you who paid attention to our channel and our jumping in point. Done you pretty righteous, hasn't it? Not too bad. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm showing you the wrong one. Yeah, that didn't seem like it was near the near the gain we had. This is much more righteous on that 2-day recross. Hell, even the 4-hour cross, but we don't, again, we try to stay away from it. I was like, how are those figures so low? 2-day recross, quite beautiful. Around that $17.21 to a high of $26.49. That's beautiful. And of course, if you go all the way back to mid-May, where was the jumping in point? Around $15. So silver just continuing to slam up. That's beautiful to see. So that's where we are, folks, as we end the day. We always appreciate you being with us. You support what we do. How about helping us out? $1 a day. What will that get you? That will get you all the training we have here special for our Patreon supporters. That includes the short chart training, the Bitcoin training, the long chart training, all the special stuff. Plus that once a month live question and answer call-in session just for our Patreon members. So consider it. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.